from the Renner overpass on 435 right over here, not very far away from the church, you get a sense that we're kind of speeding along. Driving hard, so focused on getting to the next place. And life kind of feels like we're just sort of stuck in this groove, in this track. And even if you did want to slow down, you really couldn't, could you? Even if you really wanted to slow down, you would impede traffic. The flow would just keep pushing you and pushing you to catch up to that speed. Just try and slow down, and you feel that pace keep pushing you. You know what I mean? And we say things like this, maybe you don't, but I do. We say, this is the busy season, right? This is the busy time. Once we get through with this, this, and this, you know what comes after this? It's going to be nice and quiet. And then does that happen? Hardly ever. This one busy season kind of overlaps into the next busy season to where we're just in the busy season all the time, and it kind of becomes the norm of life. So when we talk about slowing down and quieting ourselves a little bit, I know what the natural response is. One of those is, how would I fit it in? The flow keeps pushing me. I don't even know how to slow down and to find the quiet and the peace. Another question might be, when? When in my life? There's no spot on my calendar. Here you go. You can look at it. Here's my calendar. You show me where I can slow down. Or the third response might be, I don't even know where. You know, where in the world is there even a slow and quiet place? How about 800 feet away? You realize that from that very overpass where Renner crosses over 435, where the traffic is screaming along in the mornings, that 800 feet away from that is the edge of Shawnee Mission Park. That's how close. That's how the two live in proximity. The fast push and the pace, and then the quiet of Shawnee Mission Park. All the acreage out there with the pond, with the fire tower. You could go to the top and see the cityscape on a clear day. Those two sit that close together. Peace and quiet is really not as far away as we think it is. That's the first thing I want us to realize. Most of us have to admit that peace and quiet probably exists with just a little withdrawal, with just a little turn, with really just looking up and saying, if I wanted to, I could find this place, and it's this close to me right now. Well, we're in the first week of this habitual series, and we're talking about ingraining new spiritual habits into our lives, to make a time and place in our lives to paddle out of the flow, the speed that pushes us along, and kind of turn into the eddy. Turn into the place. Let's imagine you're going down the river, and it just keeps pushing you, but you see a place where you can turn out and finally not have to worry about paddling, but just take in the scenery. Just see the mountains that come down to the river. Just look around and see nature and all of that stuff. That's what we're talking about. How do you find those places? To find this place where you can take a deeper look at life. The classic church fathers of the early centuries called these things habits. They called these habits spiritual disciplines. And so over the next few weeks, we're going to look at just 6 of the spiritual disciplines. These ways to get out of the flow and to maybe dig in deeper and to paddle out of the shallow and sink deeper into things like contemplation, confession, simplicity, service, worship, and study. And prayer.